Okay, so on this next slide, we're gonna extend the sequences that we have been looking at in this assignment. But before we do that, we're gonna just kind of analyze a little bit. So looking at the graph above, at the top of the page here, think about how fast each of those sequences is growing. So we looked at their growth rate on the previous slide. Do not do any additional computations yet, but make conjectures based on your tables in your graph. Okay, so looking at the table to the right or from the previous slide, looking at the graph above, if n were to represent the number of years and t of n represents the amount of money in your savings account, which account would you prefer, A, B, or C, and tell me why. There's not a right or wrong answer here. I just want you to sort of make a conjecture based on the information that you have right now. Do you think your answer would change if you kept the account for many years? So at year 4, we would probably clearly want, if we were only going to use 4 years in that savings account, we would want to pick sequence B because we have the most money at year 4. If we were at year 2 though, and we only wanted to keep the account open for 2 years, then we would want to pick sequence A because it has the most money. So the question is, do you think your answer is going to change if you go out maybe 10 or 20 years? And if you do, which sequence do you think you would choose? Again, no right or wrong here. Just put something in there and tell me what you think. So then the next order of business is we're actually going to extend our tables. Part B or sequence B has already been done for you, and extend the graphs as well. So if you remember on the previous slide, we said we were adding 27 to get each of the next terms. So let's go ahead and continue that pattern. So if I add 27 to 108, I will get 135. And if I add 27 again, I will get 162. And if I add 27 again, I'll get 189. And I'm going to go ahead and plot those on that graph to the left, and you can do the same. You should see them pop up on the graph below automatically, but I do want you to put them on the graph to the left as well. All right, so on the left, you've seen I've put those 3 additional points in there, and I just connected them with a dotted line just to show that those are the ones I added. Sequence B is already done, so we don't need to do anything with that sequence. You see it both on the graph to the left and the one below. Sequence C, however, we need to continue to calculate. Now, if you remember on the previous slide, we said we're going to multiply by 2. So we're going to take 48, multiply by 2, and get 96. Take 96, multiply by 2, we get 192. And then take 192 and multiply by 2, and we're going to get 384. So go ahead and plot those 3 points on the graph to the left. They should already be popping up on the graph below. Okay, so once again, you see I've added in the points on the left and just connected them with a dotted line to try to get a better idea of the shape. And then they should already be kind of showing up on the graph below for you. I think I have one of those wrong, so it's okay. So anyway, after all of this, the last question on our slide says, based on our new graph, do we want to change our answer to part B? Why or why not? Again, no right or wrong here. But I want you to now look at what's happening on your graph. Do you think at year 8 that the red graph will still have a higher output than the purple graph? That's really what this is asking you. All right, so go ahead and answer that question, and then you're done.